must be punished to the fullest extent of the law.
Oh, not a chance, fella.
Yet on the very night he was killed, perhaps I was talking and I should have been listening. Been listening.
Alright, enough of the intro. Enough of the intro. I'm sure you can hear my dog barking outside, but this is the beat that we made last stream. At the end where like all the audio cut out, that I realized that I'm just a moron. And now I'm going to kind of go through some of the stuff that I ended up cleaning up or doing afterwards. So here we go. Here's the beat, and then we'll kind of go through it and
There is no
talk about what
America.
we did.
There is no democracy.
The world is a business.
You are an old man who thinks in terms of nations and peoples.
I do realize that the last, I don't know, long time of the last stream, all this stuff was cutting out. So we'll get to kind of where the break happens, and then I'll cut it off. So everything will kind of calm down here again.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature, and I won't have it!
And then everything kind of bumps back in, and then we'll do the outro and stuff as I break it all down. So this is our first Rhodes pattern. Just smoother than smooth. Easy, easy stuff. And then our second Rhodes pattern where it just kind of does something a little different. Instead of having that first note, it's just going to be 2 chords. Easy. All right, and then here with our strings, just swelling. And that just happens all throughout that, just to give it a little more space. And then here's our first piano. And I think this was like jazz piano in Contact Library. Yeah, piano in blue. And that's going to happen all throughout too. Nothing really changing there. And then we got our Analog Lab, which is just our pad. I don't know why I like that so much. It's just awesome. And then here's our bass. Just starts over from there. And then here is our first, like, I guess our lead piano. It'll go. And this one actually changes quite a bit throughout the song, as I'm sure you can see. Just I wanted the hook to have like 2 different phrases. And then this is starting our verse section. And then you'll see it just kind of switches up. Easy stuff. And then here are another piano that we have layered in where it's on a delay, so it's just going to be a low note where it goes, just adding in space. And then the part that my P-Dub wanted to see with the drums, so we're going to go through all of our stuff in the drums. So this is our first drum bus. I'm going to cut out the other 2, and then you can see I've got it all routed together here. So, and then you can see our drum bus 2 and 3, but this one goes into both of those, and then they're both routed into the master. So we'll just start with the first one where we've got Decimort, and we've got it, you know, our wet knob is kind of lowered. I started with the Amen loop preset, then kind of went off from there. Guitar rig, our preset in here was the drum loop vinyl icer, and I remember playing around with it, but I don't remember exactly what I did. And then a tape sculptor dream glue, and then that's how this is going to sound without the other 2. So it'll just be this one. Sorry. And you can say like it's just not that, it's not feeling quite as beefy. And then here we added Analog Obsession Sweet Drums, and then those 2 together, and then we're getting a little beefier. And then our third, just to make it real fat, we've got Redopter and a multi-band compressor, and then you can see like the volume can't be up super high, but it's just giving it that extra, so our drums are really out in front. So that's all I've done. And you know, so we've got our first drum bus here, and then we route them into these, and then they all go into the master. So this goes here, and then this one goes into the master. This goes here, and then this one goes into the master. Super, super easy stuff. And then once you get into the second section, nothing really changes till we get here, and then we'll kind of come back in after the break, because I'll put up this in a video later, just because I like the way this beat turned out, and there are no samples in it or anything. Super. I just really like the way it turned out.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature, and I won't have it.
So we're making our way into our outro. That tape noise just sounds so good to me.
You are an old man who thinks in terms of nations and peoples, and I won't have it.
A nice little delay on that last little bit.
There is no America. There is no democracy.
The world is a business.
There is no America.
There you have it. I mean, this is, I don't know. I probably worked on this a few hours after the stream, too. So this wasn't just like, you know, it just shows you once you find the right melody. Because I probably went through, I don't know, 15 or 20 melodies before I came down on this one. So, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot going on here. I want to kind of wrap this up within 10 minutes. So, I hope that's helpful. I hope seeing the bus helps. And then I'll show you the plugins on everything else. So the first thing that we have, Keyscape, which it didn't even end up making it in the song. So 16 is our Rhodes, and you can see all those plugins are just EQ, RC20, and then the tape sculptors on this one too. And then the strings you can see is just the EQ because they were already sounding great. So we just cut out the highs and lows, I'm sure, on that one. 18 is the lab, where that's our pad where we got RC20, Decimort, so and the EQ on that one. So also just nothing too crazy there. And then you can hear that, and then we can take off effects, and then with, you can just already hear how we've kind of bent that noise in a weird way. And then here's our bass, which is just trillion, and then with the effects, and then without. because this is just an upright bass. And then our main piano, which is that silk piano on 21, which is RC20, Reels, and Pro Q. And then without our effects. But we want it kind of like sound like somebody's playing this in a bathroom or something. And then this one that has the huge delay on it, you'll see that. And then we already did our drums, so that's kind of it. And then I'll play out the beat, and then this will be the stream. Just wanted to show you the stream beat that we all worked on together, I suppose. And I'll see you next time. So appreciate it.
There is no America. There is no democracy.
The world is a business.
You are an old man who thinks in terms of nations and peoples. And I won't have it.
There is no America. There is no democracy.
The world is a business.
There is no America.